Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back to another look at an early access game. And this time we are having a look at a game called They Are Billions by Numantian Games for the PlayStation 4. They Are Billions is an unlikely mix of the tower defense and real-time strategy genres. It is set in a post-apocalyptic steampunk world. Now you guys know I'm a very big fan of zombie games, survival games, and post-apocalyptic games as well. I'm also a big fan of real-time strategy, having played through classics like StarCraft. Admittedly, I am not the greatest real-time strategy player, but I love playing these games, so I was very excited when Numantian reached out to me with a review copy of this game. Now, having played it, I can definitely say it's a real hidden gem for me. I wasn't expecting to enjoy the game as much as I did, but I wanted to show you guys today why I think this could be my pick for the best indie game of the year. Let's have a little bit of a look. They Are Billions is set in a future where a mysterious plague has ravaged the world. You are in control of possibly the last city of the human race, surrounded by billions of the undead. Your goal is simple: to turn your tiny city into a fortress, reclaiming the surrounding land from the dead and building up a defense. Even when you believe your city is fully defended, you are never truly safe because the zombie hordes never cease. To make things even more perilous, the human race has lost much of their technological advancement and has regressed to a steampunk society. Your town is the last safe place for humankind, housing your ragged survivors and providing you a meager income. You have to decide how you're going to use that income to provide for your people, and you will soon find that expansion is absolutely necessary. Your people will have nowhere to sleep, so you need room for houses. Your people will need food, so you'll need to build farms on fertile soil. You will also need defences against the massive hordes awaiting you, so you need to build soldiers, barracks, static defences and traps to slow the zombie hordes and keep them out of your city. As you build out your new home, you will need to take into account the surrounding land. Rocky cliffs provide a natural defense against zombies. Rivers and lakes provide a barrier that zombies can't get across because they can't swim. You will also need to scout out raw materials like wood, metal and stone, which will give you a resource to build anything your people may need, including weapons, tools, and of course defences. Speaking of defences, your survivors are armed with simple weapons befitting the steampunk setting. You start off with bows and simple rifles. Your soldiers have to defend the people from the hordes and are a vital resource that gains strength as they slay more of the undead. Your units all have experience, and if you manage them well, they will become efficient hunters, veterans that can cut down zombies with ease. If you manage your veterans carefully, then you can use them to hold back the horde. But if they die, you'll be left with rookies that aren't as strong and aren't as efficient as holding back the dead. And that can mean the difference between victory and defeat. If you do manage to make it past the initial phase of the game, you'll be able to upgrade your units to far more powerful variants. But the zombies will never stop, and it becomes a precarious balancing act between defense and offense. Now, it wouldn't be a zombie game without a healthy serving of the undead. Just like every zombie apocalypse, the zombies are an ever-present danger. It only takes a single infected entering your safe haven to turn a city of humans into a new zombie horde ready to consume your home from the inside. As the threat increases, you'll need to surround your home with walls along with man towers, ballistas and traps to slow down the zombie hordes and stop them from entering your home. Furthermore, the zombies have also evolved beyond the familiar slow lumbering menace that we're so used to. There are a variety of new zombies, which range from sprinters that can run down your men and rip them apart, to acid-spitting zombies that can melt your soldiers from afar, and also massive zombies which have huge strength to crush your men by the dozen if you're not careful. The game world around your home is brimming with thousands of these zombies, and if you want to expand, you'll need to take the land back by force. If that isn't bad enough, the other cities have also fallen to the horde and are now full of the undead. These nests will need to be burned to the ground in order to ensure the zombies don't spread. Now, if you are successful in clearing the map and destroying all of the other infected settlements, you still need to prepare for the massive horde that comes at the end of each game. Depending on your settings, you can end up with a rather large horde to an insane horde of thousands and thousands of zombies coming from all directions. Now, to stop the zombie threat, you have a range of units at your disposal, and they all have their own steampunk flavour. You start off with simple scouts armed with bows. They're quick and silent and are perfect for taking out zombies without attracting too much attention. As the dead multiply, you'll upgrade to soldiers with rifles capable of mowing down the zombies, and also snipers to take out the more dangerous ones. If you survive long enough, you'll get access to flame-wielding Lucifer units and the explosive Thanatos, which can throw bombs from far away. Finally, if you have the funds and make it to the end of the game, you can also field the massive mutants, genetically engineered super warriors that I'm convinced were inspired by the Astartes from Warhammer 40k. So why do I like this game? Well, for me, the main appeal is the challenge. They Are Billions is punishingly hard. You won't win your first game. You probably won't win your 10th game. But with each defeat, you'll learn a little bit. You'll adjust your strategy and you'll try again. For myself, it became an obsession. Dying, working out what I did wrong, optimizing my strategy, maybe moving my walls a little bit, managing my resources a bit better, maybe placing my units a bit smarter, and getting a bit further in. Now, if you are struggling, you can change the settings of the game, and that will change the difficulty. There are two ways to change the difficulty: to drop the amount of zombies populating the map, and to alter the length of the game. Dropping the number of zombies will decrease the zombie hordes in the surrounding area, and changing the length of the game will give you more time to prepare for the penultimate horde of billions that comes for you. At the end of the game, a massive wall of undead come by the thousands from all directions. And this is the high point of the game for me, watching the final horde crashing against my defences, desperately hoping that I built enough to keep them out. Now, every time I failed reaching this final stage, I came back wanting to try again and see what happens if you do manage to hold back the horde. And indeed, if you can. Now, the sensation of surviving this the first time is immensely rewarding. Plus, you will need to survive to unlock the additional maps in the game. So I definitely recommend you persevere here. The game is also superbly balanced. The economy is simple to learn but difficult to master. You'll gain some resources over time, such as gold, and other resources like metal and stone can only be found by exploring the world. And that gives you an incentive to expand as fast as you can. The most difficult resource to manage is, of course, space. You need room to grow your city, and every inch of land is defended by the undead. You will also need to make sure the undead don't reclaim the land and destroy the buildings that you've made. You have to balance your time between building out your city and clearing the zombies in the infected area around your base. Now the graphics are simple and they are cel-shaded, but they have a type of charm that I really like. And the units are all very, very detailed, and they have that steampunk feel which I love. I like the approach they've taken with the zombies. They've left them simple, but animated them reasonably well. And I wager you probably won't get a close look at them too much when there's thousands of them rushing towards your base. The soundtrack which we're listening to is an epic affair that really matches the feel of the game. I found myself humming the theme song along in my head many times. Perhaps the one thing that I'm looking forward to the most is Numantian's work on a campaign. The campaign is a set of missions that provide the full backstory to the events surrounding the game, and that's something I think this game sorely needs. It would be great to have a primer for the more challenging survival mode to ease players in, because at the moment the game is very hard to pick up, and it only has around 5 or 6 maps at the time of recording. Despite all of the high points of this game, I did experience some shortcomings. The main one is the poor support for controllers. Playing this game on the PlayStation, I found that precise control is extremely difficult. Micromanaging units and selecting buildings is frustrating, and the default zoom is far too low. The default controls are also not optimal, but to be fair, real-time strategy games are always problematic on a console where you're using a controller. I have seen other developers optimize this a little bit better, and I'm hoping that Numantian do come back and have another look at this, because this was really the only problem that I experienced in my whole time playing the game. But if you find that you can't get around this problem, this game, as I mentioned, is available on PC, and I recommend that you pick it up there instead. Now my final thoughts on this game. They Are Billions is an essential purchase for fans of zombie games and fans of real-time strategy. You guys who watch my channel and like games like 7 Days to Die and Project Zomboid, if you're looking for something different and you played games like StarCraft, this is a natural choice. I started looking at this game with my usual approach. I play the game for a few hours and then I give my thoughts on my initial experience. This video came out almost a month late because I couldn't stop playing this game long enough to complete the video. And that's the highest praise I can give any indie game. They Are Billions is the second recipient of my Golden Goat Award for a indie game of true quality, and I would love to see what Numantian releases in future, because I think this is a developer to watch. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. If you have bought it and tried it out, let me know, and if you want to jump on and have a match with me in game, I'd love to play this game multiplayer too. Let me know what you think, leave me a like, leave me a subscribe, and let me know what you think of this new format of reviews, where I've done things a little bit differently to how I normally would. Until next time, Skill Incarnate out.